Hello and welcome to Lutherans Alive. My name is Gregory Held, and this is the program that brings you the story of Lutheran Christians and their ministries in southwestern Pennsylvania. Although today we're going to stretch those boundaries a bit and talk about the region that surrounds us, we sometimes affectionately call Appalachia or Appalachia. And with us today is Dory Campbell, who is the coordinator of an organization we affectionately also know as ELCMA, Evangelical Lutheran Coalition for Mission in Appalachia or Appalachia.
That's great.
Dory, as you're the coordinator, we first want to welcome you. Thanks for being here today.
Good to be here.
And to get your take on who says what in terms of how we pronounce Appalachia. And then we'll give a kind of a brief description of what region we are talking about.
All right. Well, north of the Mason-Dixon line, most folks say Appalachia. That's where I grew up, and that's how I learned to say it. But the more I've been with ELCMA and traveling south, I've been corrected enough times that I tend toward the Appalachia now. So it's really correct either way. And I'm giving us all permission in western Pennsylvania to say it that way.
Very good. And when we talk about Appalachia or Appalachia, how large of a territory are we actually talking about? What are we thinking about in that title?
If we look at the mountains themselves, they run from Maine to Florida. If you look at the federal government's definition of the Appalachian region, it runs 13 states where counties are impoverished or fit into the formula that they use, and that would be from upstate New York to the tops of Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. So those counties are the ones that the federal government designates. We lay the map of the ELCA on top of it, pick out 16 synods that are a part of the region, and work in those 16 synods.
And how long has ELCMA been in existence now?
This April, we're going to celebrate our 20th anniversary.
Is that right?
Yes,
That'll
we're very excited.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And can you describe briefly what was the original vision of that mission or ministry, or was it really open-ended and was open to developing whatever the needs called for?
Well, I came into the organization after it was about 6 years old. But from what I've read, the plan was that the organization would carry forward what the Lutheran Church in America had begun of having a consultation every year of leaders in the region, in the rural or small places who often weren't heard. Bring them together, let them tell each other their stories, support each other, encourage each other. And no matter what else ELCMA adds to the picture, we definitely continue that piece.
Yeah. We often tend to think in terms of boundaries and identities by state or by county or by some other name, but we know that needs and ministry often spill over those lines or bring people together from beyond boundaries when there are common things that need to be addressed.
That's the truth. ELCMA works within 4 regions of the ELCA, and we've often had people from, bishops in particular, from Region 8 and Region 9 cooperating on projects because the mountain region has a different idea of where the lines should be drawn, and so they will partner on projects, especially around flood recovery.
And Region 8 and Region 9 are the kind of northern end of the range there, aren't they?
Well, yes, Region 8, almost all of the synods in Region 8 are part. Region 9 goes down into the southern pieces, and then parts of 6 and 7 are also included, so that we have Ohio and Indiana and Kentucky and upstate New York and over into northeast Penn. So we've got a large range.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we could begin by highlighting what are some of the major initiatives that are going on in ELCMA at this time.
Sure. Well, our number one push right now is the networking, bringing people together from around the region, and when we are separated throughout the year, to keep us connected. And you know, with electronics and technology now, we're able to do a much better job than we could long ago. But after we've been working on that, we also add to it a couple of programming pieces. We have a bonding garden project that I hope folks will go to our website and find out more about, because it's really a creative new way to teach people not only how to garden, but how to do it and not be dependent on the church anymore. You know, we used to grow it and give it to them, but now we're learning to teach them how to do the growing themselves.
We're anticipating having another segment on the garden, so we hopefully can give folks a lot more information about that in another segment.
That would be great. We're also looking to do something that's called transformational immersions. These immersions bring folks to the region to help them understand our particular culture and the things that we're proud of and the things that we're working on. But the idea of the transformation is that when we go back home from these visits, that we might carry the special things that God burdens our heart for, take them back to where we are living, and continue to not only pray for those issues, but maybe be an activist in whatever way is possible, so that the visit is more than just a tourist kind of visit, but a real change in heart. Mm-hmm. So we're working to put those together and targeting first the high school youth groups, and then perhaps we will move to some college campuses and engage those folks as well.
Is that something that you've already had some visitors come down, and how did that go?
Well, we've had some immersions in the past, many, usually 1 or 2 every year. But most recently, we did have a group of youth come up from Bristol, Tennessee, and they were here over Christmas vacation. They came to Indiana, Pennsylvania, and they worked in the Chevy Chase Community Center, helping them to rehab that building, which is never cared for. It's usually the center caring for people in the community. So these youth were able to care for the center, and that was a very nice touch. And then they also spent a day in the county learning about some of our history, touring a place that does French and Indian War and those kinds of things. But the debriefing time, the prayerful Bible study time in the evenings is when we were actually able to touch some of the things that we think they may go home and continue to be in touch with us about around for instance, we have a landfill in our area that gives off methane gas, which could be captured and used for other uses, beneficial uses rather than pollution. It's not happening. We need to take a move there. There's also a lot of green things that we're looking at in our county around not only pollution but water uses. And so we introduced them to some of those things on one of the tours. So we're hoping that some of those things will have captured their imagination, and as they go forward changing our world, which the youth always do, maybe they'll be able to come up with some solutions for us.
I'm sure that's one of the things that is at the heart of what you're trying to do there is give them the information that they need to understand what the local circumstances are, and from there give them a way to begin to make the personal connections and to try to address some of those things. Do they normally come during the summer, or can they come anytime, like a weekend retreat, or how's that structured?
Well, they can come anytime they'd like. We have set up a website that is, you can find from our website. It links you right to it. We partnered with the Methodists and the Episcopalians and the Presbyterians, and noted sites throughout the entire 13 states where folks can go for a weekend, a week, or some folks will even come for a month or more and dedicate their time to help the location. It can be, fixing a roof. It can be a lot, maybe working in the technology area, helping them to set up a web page, for instance. It just depends on what the gifts are. But you go to the website and they list what the opportunities are, and you match that with the gifts in your group. So they can come year-round for most of those sites.
Very good. We're actually at the time for our first break already, so we're going to pause for just a few seconds, and we'll be back to talk more about your role as coordinator and how you are staying busy with that.